Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if it happened to you, if it ever happened to you, but I suspect you've been through this one way or another. And that is, you get yourself in a relationship, work relationship, intimate relationship, where you stop and say, how in the hell did I get this far into this? How come did I agree to reach this point? How did I get to this one? For instance, some could ask how in the hell we got to the point where we're talking about, I don't know, sending fighter jets to Ukraine and tanks to Ukraine to fight the Russians, but we're not involved. You might think any bullet, any weapon sent to Ukraine from us gets us involved in the war. And now we got to the point where we have tanks sent and we're about to send fighter jets. How did we get to this one? Because if this would be at the beginning of the Ukraine garbage over there, and someone would say, let's send tanks, let's send airplanes from the very beginning, you would be like, oh, whoa, 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 take it easy. No, 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 it's too big of a step. And the key word is step. Through small steps, small increments. My mountain slope little model. Slowly. Puck, 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 puck. So now we got to a point where we're talking about the, I don't even know how to put this in words to create the biggest impact. How did we get to this point that we're debating? The government is fighting, the federal government is fighting with the state government of certain states about the protection of the borders of the country. I mean, how did we get to this idiotic argument that we don't know if we should protect our borders, if we should build, I don't know, 10,000 feet tall walls against or I don't know, put people waiting for something, or drones or something. How come? And you have a war between the federal government, the United States of America, and the state governments, the border states, in this case is Texas, about the Texas protecting its border with Mexico, wherever they might come, and the federal government fighting them and dismantling the barbed wire these guys put to protect the country. How is it possible that the federal government is not on the same page with the state government? They represent the same people, the Americans, in protecting, stopping the illegal trespassing into a private property. There's no right where it says that these guys are entitled to cross the border in another country just illegally, which is breaking the law, trespassing on a property. And there's no law anywhere where I remember that the country cannot prevent these guys from entering their property. So how come we have this idiotic situation where you have the federal government who's in charge of the borders of this union fights against a state who says, no, we're going to deploy the National Guard over there. We're going to build barbed wire fences against these things. It's an invasion, self-defense. And those guys are fighting. So we are fighting, these politicians. I call this treason, just so you know. When you fight against the interests of your country and you swore allegiance to the Constitution and to defend this country of foreign and domestic enemies. That's called treason. These guys are fighting with one another about an issue that should be ABC 1, 2, 3, clear as daylight. And no, we don't know if we should do. It's like, no, I'm not going to defend, I don't know, my girlfriend or my wife if someone tries to rape her. I'm not. Wait. He has the right to make a pass on her. She's a free person if she wants. What are you talking about? We're talking about an aggression, a crime. These guys are, oh, no, we can't. They have the right actually to cross into, are they free people? They're poor people. And what about us? What about us? What about the law? We got in this point where it seems like they make it, the Russians now, and not only, they make it appear like it's a new civil war in the United States of America. I say it's coming. It's coming. I don't know if it's going to be triggered by this garbage or a little bit further down the line when some minorities will demand a certain kind of autonomy. That's what's going to start and trigger the, how do you call it, the civil war here. When you're going to have a few minorities, groups, regardless of what kind of line, racial, ethnic, I think that's going to be the beginning, where they're going to say, you know what, we want to establish here an autonomous region, maybe, I don't know, a new country. And there's a right of self-determination or simply something like that. That's how it's going to start. We're already divided here. These guys divided us, obviously, allowed us to be divided on cultural ideologies, race, orientation on something that should not even matter, garbage like that. Why? Divide and conquer, dominate. So let's go and see this first article from Sputnik. And it says, border standoff escalates into constitutional crisis after Biden messes with Texas. Now, why does it have to be a constitutional crisis? The constitutional crisis will be between the state of Texas and the federal government in Washington, D.C. And the Washington, D.C., we are in charge of protecting the borders, but we're going to take your defense mechanisms at the border. That means we're not going to protect our borders, and you can't protect it. And the other guy says, no, we are actually defending ourselves of an invasion. So we're fighting with details about, I said, the rape and so on. Details, when the whole thing is clear. From the very beginning, the federal government and the state governments should work together to protect our territory. Property. No, somehow we fight. So who's the traitor here? Who's the traitor? Do you agree that the border should be controlled? 100%. I agree, should be. At least I agree that it's like ABC 1, 2, 3. Are you going to have a country? How are you going to have a nation? If you can defend, how are you going to have a family if your door is open? Someone in your family opens the door to whomever wants to come over without asking anybody. Remember, the guys who are agreeing with that, I want you to take 5 families of these poor people coming across the border with their 5 kids, each family. And I want to take care of them 10 years. 10 years with your own money. I don't want to hear the pay taxes. You pay too little to the garbage that, it's created. So no, I want you to put your whatever where your thing is. Anyway, let's move to this article. So they make it a constitutional crisis. It's a national interest, security crisis, not a constitutional. They don't have to debate that. And look at these guys. Well, maybe they're going to achieve something. I mean, after all, how many men are here? All of them. So, GOP governors from 25 states rallied behind Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. So that's the little revolution right here, civil war. After he said his state's right to self-defense, like Israel's right to self-defense, nobody asks Israel if they build those walls to protect anybody from coming, which is their right. I agree with that 100%. Now, I don't know about that with the Palestinians and Israel. So we claim it's our territory. Here, the guys coming from wherever they come, they don't claim it's their territory. They just come over. Opportunities. Well, what about my interest? Fuck you. Wait a minute. If we go by that, I can smack you. No problem with that. All right. After self-defense supersedes, and I'm quoting, any federal statutes to the contrary, following a Supreme Court ruling allowing federal agents to take down razor wire barriers put up by state authorities. So state authorities said, we're going to protect our country, our state. And then you got the federal agents receiving an order, right, because of the Supreme Court ruling. No, you take down those razor wire barber down. No, it's going to make it harder for the other guys. They're going to get injured in attempting to break our law. Do you give a fuck about that? What about me? What about us? Do we get injured? No, because that's a benefit. Whoa, to whom? To the big business? Yeah, because these guys are... Let's start with I'm not going to go again. You see, I was about to go and argue again from somewhere. Oh, we're going to tanks and... No, from the very beginning. You should not break our law. You try to trespass, you're going to be caught and you're going to be thrown back where you came from, which is across the border, not to your country, across the border. And those guys will deal with you. I don't give a fuck. What is Mexico gonna do? Suck a dick? Huh? What are they going to do? Anyway. Here's why the standoff is important. Democrats are calling on President Joe Biden to seize control of the Texas National Guard amid Governor Greg Abbott's allegations that the White House has broken the compact between Washington and the states on immigration policy. This is, I would say, treason. And according to Governor Greg Abbott, is using the Texas National Guard to obstruct and create chaos at the border. They're defending the fucking country. What are you talking about? Chaos. Chaos is created by people who come here. That's what it is. You come to the border, you create chaos. Not you, no chaos. You come here, chaos is we're going to make sure you don't enter. That's what the chaos is. You see how the interpretation is? No, it's not like that. And if you want to go back, we can go back to others whose fault is. Who created us? If Abbott is defying yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, President of the United States of America, right, or something, established sole federal control of the Texas National Guard now, Representative Joaquin Castro. That sounds like a guy who would promote the invasion of the United States of America, of this country created by certain kind of group. A Democrat from Texas wrote this week in an explosive social media post, Joaquin, are you an American or not? If you're an American, you have to protect it 100% against anybody. Okay, if I am a representative, I will protect it against Romanian citizens trying to break into this country. Because I'm an American by definition right here. Otherwise, I'm not an American. That means I work for other interests. Foreign interests. But Castro, not Fidel Castro. Now, the Supreme Court ruled in a narrow 5-4 decision Monday authorizing federal border agents to remove defenses by the Texas authorities on Abbott's instructions. National Guard troops were earlier deployed. These guys just want to leave the door open. And some people want to leave it closed. Now what is the law saying? The borders should be protected. No one enters a country without the approval of the guys here. What are you talking about? This is, and again, the controversial court ruling has sparked fears of a major constitutional crisis in the United States, with Abbott issuing, I'm quoting, a statement on Texas' constitutional right to self-defense, stressing the state's right to defend itself against an invasion, quote unquote, of illegal immigrants. No, people who are trespassing, that's illegal. That means you're illegal. You're breaking the law. It's criminal. And accusing President Biden of violating and refusing to enforce immigrant laws. They are on the book. Why don't you do it? That's a crime. Remember, I swear to defend and uphold the Constitution against all domestic and foreign... remember that one? The authority, and I'm quoting, the authority to defend itself against invasion is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes. To the contrary, Abbott wrote, the Texas National Guard, I'm quoting, the Texas Department of Public Safety and other Texas personnel are acting on that authority as well as state law to secure the Texas border, according to the governor. Remember, that is valid for Mexico. This is valid for whatever country. It's not only United States of America. Anywhere, if you try to cross the border in another country, that's called breaking the law. Like Judas Priest. In the face of the national security, public safety, and public health catastrophe, Texas has rightly invoked the invasion clause of the Constitution, I'm quoting, and must be given full support to repel the invasion, Trump said in a statement released Thursday, adding that, and I'm quoting, all Americans should support the common sense measures being taken by the Lone Star State. It's unbelievable. And then we have another article here, ready? Right here. the second civil war. So these are the red states. By looking at New York or Michigan and California being on the other side, I'm guessing, without reading the somewhere, that the red states are the ones that actually support Texas, even Alaska right here. I don't see Hawaii. No, Hawaii is right here, so nothing. So these are the countries that support the right to, I don't know, protect your borders, and the other ones are not. So these guys are just traitors. Think it however you want. We may well be witnessing a pivotal moment in history, a letter of support. Well, these are the Bible, and that's gonna deter these guys from. You gotta be kidding me. When I was a kid, that would not have been an issue. A kid, right there. And this is. Are you gonna use that? I don't think so. So shut the fuck up. Why don't you even use it for self-defense? This barbed wire is gonna. Once this guy is walking down here, those guys are just gonna go through it. I guarantee you that. With 2 sticks, you can figure things out. And believe me, behind over there, they're gonna find 2 sticks, wooden sticks, to take care of it. And if they, do you think there's gonna, how should I put it, prevent those guys from crossing? Are you crazy? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand these guys' desperation 100%. I've been in that position. When I wanted to come in the Western world. I wanted to come to the United States of America, but you can't do it. Therefore, I understand, and I was not that desperate as probably those people are. But to get your toddler that this guy has in his arms in that picture and so on, that's desperation. But it doesn't mean that your desperation overrides my life, my desperation. After all, you can't have whomever wants to come here. Because that's not used in other instances. I mean, if the Russians want to move to Ukraine, why don't you let them? Militarily, I'm talking. So here is, my friends, I think that this is not going to trigger a, how do you call it, civil war here. No, because you deal with politicians. It's not going to happen. I think the thing has to be even hotter than that. And the decision must be made somehow at departments that can really do things. Now the politicians going to do it, and then these guys are going to put the army on you. You're fucked. Yeah, they can do that. Oh, you can't have the military here. Remember when the Romans had no Roman armies can cross the Rubicon. They stay outside of Italian peninsula. They should stay out. What did these guys do? Cross the Rubicon and came and fucked you up. Why? Because they can. The guys with the weapons are in charge. Always. They might allow the other ones to pretend they are, but eventually the guys with weapons. So again, if these guys say, well, we're going to form this new union or whatever, do you think these guys in Washington D.C. will say, yeah, okay, let's see if we find it in the Constitution anywhere saying that? No, they're going to bring the guys in and they're going to start the do you think you have the National Guard? I don't know if you're familiar with what the National Guard has, what kind of weapons it has versus the U.S. military. I think a fight between the National Guard as it is right now with, let's say, the U.S. military, they have no chance. We have no chance. Let's put it that way. Why? National Guard is a depleted, third-ranked. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about the weapons. Do you have any missiles? What kind of airplanes you got? How many? How many tanks? What kind of tanks? Yeah, and then you have to, how do you get them? In one day, you're squashed by the other side. If they decide, that's why when they say, well, you hear some people saying, oh, we got the guns to defend from the government. If the government wants to take care of whomever they want, they can do it in a few hours. With your old chick or automatic weapons, or that's just to give you the illusion that you have a chance. You have no standing chance against the U.S. military. So when you hear people, yeah, the Constitution, or they say to defend, what if the government becomes tyrannic? The government is already on its really way, just a degree of tyrannical examples that we can see around us. This is a stupid tyrannical move by the federal government, for instance. No, we're not going to protect that, because why? We care about them. Your sole role is to care about the U.S. citizens. That's your sole, not the rest. Fuck the rest. It's your family. As a parent, your sole role is to care for your family. Fuck the rest. The same thing those guys think, go, if I care for his family first and not my family, that makes me a traitor, a criminal. And then imagine this, if I am required to care for his family first, that means those parents are also required to care for my family first. Why? So we're going to care for everybody else's family, but not for our family. So my neighbor is going to care for my family, and I'm going to care for his family. Isn't that the same thing? So if I'm starting harming my family, he is going to intervene and beat me up because he protects my family. If he's going to abuse his family, I'm going to intervene over there and protect his family from himself. What, I mean, you're still going to have the fight between the interest. The same with the federal government. We protect the people. That means the people from Honduras, the government of Honduras, we're going to protect us from the Honduras, let's say, Hondurans invasion, or I don't know, Mexico, let's say, because we're supposed to care for them. They're supposed to care for us. No? If our government is supposed to care for other people, that means those countries' governments are supposed to care for other people, which is us, not their own people. What the fuck is this? These guys are just trying to supposedly make us be as one, so we don't know who's who, what's what, like in between. So we don't have these clear differences that we have, tribal differences, thinking that once we're going to be, who the fuck, be looking the same, that's what I think. Looking the same is going to make us think the same. And not even that, they have to divide us through other things. And it seems like the tribal membership is the strongest. You like your family more than the other one, and then you like your neighborhood more than the other one, and you like your city more than the other city, and you like your country or nation or tribe more than the other one. And that's they try to change this. It's like we all belong to the green dollar. It doesn't work that way. They think, but they're working on these baboons. I'm talking about the new generation, where they think, oh, his money is as green as the other one. Really? What if that guy raped your mom? Are you gonna take his money? Is as green as the other guys? You see how idiotic that is? I heard it many times here. Oh, he bleeds red. Really? Okay. Well. That is when you go in an anthropological forensic investigation. Let's go in a crime. You know exactly that those bones, if are a female or a male, and you can, with a high degree of certainty, determine what kind of race that bone or person over there knows. How? Because it's just a social construct. Garbage. They tell you in college that the race is just a social construct. Really? Look in forensic. Medications are created based on each certain races because they react differently. This is when we get like this, and they try to destroy our reality. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.